Have you ever had one of those situations where a client has ended up disappointed with you? Even though you are absolutely certain that you have delivered exactly what you promised, exactly what they paid for, and probably more besides, and yet somehow the client is still underwhelmed. This is so frustrating, isn't it? But it's something that I help a lot of my clients with. When they have that situation where they've got a difficult customer, because I am outside the organisation, I can be a little less emotional about it, and I can actually help them to see how to deal with it in the best way. But what we also then look at is, why did this happen? What has gone on in the business to allow a customer to feel disappointed when actually you have delivered over and above what they've paid for? And one thing that very consistently comes up here is a lack of documentation. It very often comes back to working on a basis of trust. I don't need terms and conditions because I've got a great relationship with my clients. They trust me, I trust them. I know it's a little bit relaxed, but it works really well. It's always worked absolutely fine until it bites you on the backside. The problem that you have is if you don't have things very clearly documented and have something of an audit trail, then if at any point there is a disagreement or an uncertainty with a client, then what you'll find is that you will end up losing out because the customer is always right. So if you have one of those moments, for instance, where a client is saying that they think you were going to do X, Y, and Z, and you know that that's not actually in your package, X is your package, definitely not Y and Z. But if that's not written down anywhere, if that was just a conversation, then it's very difficult at that point for you to insist to the client that they only paid you for X, because at that point the client ends up feeling ripped off. Now, they've got the wrong end of the stick because you know your packages, but if this isn't documented, it's really difficult for you to actually insist on that. So here's what I want you to think about this week. It's all about documenting and having an audit trail, something you can go back to at any point so you can be absolutely clear with the client. Now, often people think this is a bit stuffy, it's a bit long-winded, it's a bit big businessy, but actually it simply makes you look organised, professional, structured. It's actually a real source of confidence and trust in your clients. So don't panic about making customers feel that they're jumping through a few hoops. Definitely don't make them jump through too many, but do make sure things are documented and really clear. So simple things like documenting exactly what it is you are promising to deliver. And that might just be an email after you start working with them. It might be something like a schedule of services. It might just be a standard proposal or an outline of your package. It can be any format, it can be really, really simple, it can be templated so you can use the same thing time after time, which is what we love, but just make sure that a client always has written down, and when I say written, I generally mean email, but some kind of documented evidence about exactly what it is they're paying for. Make 100% certain that somewhere in this documentation is how much they're paying, when they are due to pay it, whether there are any kind of payment terms, payment plans, or anything like that. If anything gets added, absolutely categorically make sure that that gets sent by email confirmation or an additional proposal or something like that. But just make sure if there's something else that gets added that is going to need to be paid for, that is also documented. Because if you don't document that, the client won't expect to pay. Then you're going to have a very awkward conversation about it. Price, payment terms, exactly what you deliver, timescales, if that's something that's really important to you. The simple fact of all of this is if it's not documented, you will lose out because you will end up backing down because you don't really have a choice. In this situation, typically speaking, the fallback position is that the customer is always right. It's really hard to insist on something if the customer disagrees with it. And the crazy thing here is that you will end up losing out because you will have to compromise. But because this situation and the uncertainty has arisen, the client will probably still feel that they have lost out as well. Crazy, hey? So everybody ends up disappointed just for the sake of not actually documenting exactly what it is you do and exactly what it is that you are agreeing to deliver for that client. So documentation is your friend. As I say, you can document this once. You can create an email template, a Word document, a PDF, a spreadsheet, a checklist, whatever it is. It's not something you have to do time and time and time again. Create the template, tweak it slightly for each client. It's going to take you 5 minutes a client once you've got the template, and that is an incredibly brilliant investment of time to get rid of any of that uncertainty, to have that absolute clarity, that beautiful professionalism, and that total understanding between you and the client, so there's never any misunderstandings. This is happy days. If you need a little help understanding exactly how to apply this in your business, send me a message or head over to tailory.co.uk and let's have a chat about how I can help you.